guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This is Chris.
And this is Amanda.
And together we're Gone LARPing,
a series dedicated to trying out new LARPs by being your guinea pigs.
Today we're checking out Dead Legends, a LARP that takes place in Pennsylvania in the Weird Wild West.
What's Weird Wild West, you may ask? Well, the Weird Wild West is an alternate Western setting with occult, horror, science fiction, and fantasy sprinkled in. Want to see supernatural spirits mixed in with gun-smoking whiskey? Well, this is the LARP for you. Pew pew!
We went to their special October event, Dead Legends Spooktacular, which was a little spookier than normal.
Spooky woods at night, but you can't see much.
There were zombies.
There were spirits.
There were weird fungal masses. But we had fun.
We both made brand new characters to explore the area of Lazarus Gap, the place where miracles and curses can happen. Basically, Dead Legends takes place in an alternate American history that deviates from its original path after the Civil War.
While the rest of the world goes on, a shroud of secrecy surrounds this Lazarus' grisly past, and those that die don't always stay dead. Basically, I played Bucky Ash Woods, a lovable farm idiot that left the town looking for a little bit of adventure and bit off a little more than she can chew.
And I play Kylie Davids, a field medic that left the army who now follows Bucky and Virgil to make sure they don't die, because I like them sometimes.
And together we ventured out into the wilds, explored new things, made new friends.
Alright, buddy. I'm the welcoming committee of this town.
That's not true.
No. So we don't let that happen.
And kept getting interrupted just trying to eat a simple bowl of soup. So Chris, what did you expect going in?
Well, I'm new to this genre, so all I really expected were cowboys and some fighting.
And I expected role-playing ghosts, and I think we kind of got both.
Yeah, I mean, the world of Lazarus Gap was pretty easy to get into. We even signed up for some player-run axe throwing before the event.
I want you to take a little tiny step to the right. Take a little step back.
You can do it, Woods.
Thank you!
Yeah.
I appreciate the words of affirmation.
You can do it!
Yeah, that was really cool. And then we got to go on the main module as NPCs, as players attempted to blow up these zombie-creating fungal masses.
Which brings us to the plot of the weekend, where a disease came around town and basically infected everybody, and that kind of put everybody in quarantine.
Hey, Chris, what are you playing?
Playing a chemist who's attempting to create a cure to save the town. But
Bork!
and I'm about to die. Maybe.
Yeah, and I heard you have a special surprise for the research crew?
Not really. I gotta say,
You know, other than the fact that you're infected yourself?
well, yeah. Surprise! I'm infected.
Yes, and there was plenty of side plot going on too, mostly to do with all these NPC factions that players could interact with. But we really didn't get into that because we're having so much fun with all the players and their characters.
I mean, the community is very passionate about like what they're doing in the genre. It puts a lot of effort into making everything like cohesive and immersive. So, like, it's all pretty nice. We managed to get some people to sit down and talk to us more about their experiences.
The character you're seeing currently is Dr. Tobias T. Clark. He is a snake oil salesman and runs a saloon. And with Dr. Tobias T. Clark, I come with an entire period tent saloon.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so...
With the canvas tent and everything?
Yes, an entire canvas tent, all period lighting, oil lamps, candles, a period bar, the whole 9 yards. And he is used sort of as an NPC, but as a character to move the plot along and kind of befriend the characters, send them in the right direction. And it's been a lot of fun doing that. So, I guess that's, and I'm also one of the folks who helps write plot in the game.
Oh,
So.
awesome. awesome. So you kind of fulfill a lot of different roles here to kind of help the story along and, you know, bring also your characters to life, but to help other characters.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I do the best I can. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
the best I can. There's always so much to do, and we try to split up the workload as best as possible.
So this is Jessie, and we're gonna ask them a little bit about their character and their experience of the game. That's also from a new player perspective, like we were.
So it's a mouthful. It's her full name
Totally go
is
for it.
Maria Lucia Garcia Hernandez. She is from the Mexican Empire, and my whole big thing with this character was to kind of bring in a little more of the history. A lot of folks here were playing characters that feed onto the Civil War history and American history, and while Mexico and Texas exists in the Dead Legends universe, there's not a lot of folks that are really playing those areas.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to tap into that. So she is a Mexican PhD, and her whole shtick is that she is an evolutionary biologist who is studying Charles Darwin, who published the Origin of Species like 20 years ago in the game time, and she follows what his teachings are, and that's like super radical. And as a result, she's decided to come up to Lazarus Gap, the town that Dead Legends is set in order to study the supernatural and the spooky things that supposedly happen in town here.
I think something that makes Dead Legends unique is we really encourage our players to just kind of experience their characters. So react appropriate, live like a town. It's okay if you spend 2 to 3 hours sitting on your porch, cooking, eating, spending time with friends, yelling to the other porch like, hey, you got coal? You got iron? Like, it's what a frontiers town should feel like, and, you know, them banding together, figuring out the lawlessness of, you know, society, and then occasionally you got the weirdness, so that, you know, it keeps those who want to really go down those dark paths a little more interested.
Yeah, and that's awesome because we totally experienced that as we were sitting in the camp this morning and people were cooking around us, people were kind of shouting, offering food, which we got many offers throughout the day, which was really awesome. It felt very immersive in it. Can you maybe tell me why this LARP in particular is one that you're passionate about?
Why I'm passionate about this LARP is because I really think it really, instead of like some of those fantasy LARPs or even apocalypse LARPs, you have the veneer of society guiding you. So you have the rules that you or I follow as law-abiding citizens that are still in place. So it becomes a very polite society, because in the end, most people don't just commit crimes, and also there's a lot of historical base where, like, I learned in character and also out of character gun etiquette of like the idea of like touching your gun is a threat, drawing your gun is like a shout, a challenge, and that you're within your right to kill a person if they put their hand on their gun and they're talking to you. So it's really neat, like all these weird social concepts.
In the world of Dead Legends, the staff creates monthly plots, but still works with players to integrate their stories in an interactive narrative.
My character's name is Nellie Ellis. She is the owner of the Lufash Trade and Supply, one of the many merchant facilities in the camp. And she herself is a master machinist, and she kind of just runs around doing business all day and trying to put out fires. So I would say for people trying the game out for the first time, this is very much a sandbox kind of game, so you're going to get out what you put in. So the more you go into it with a suspension of disbelief, the more you go into it with your own agency to kind of create your own plot. We really reward that kind of behavior here. So just kind of have fun with it. Anything you want to try, as long as it's within the setting and you're, you know, not impeding on other people's fun, go for it, because we're going to try to play off of you as much as you play off the environment, and it just kind of makes it way more fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great way for people to kind of come up with a concept and come in and engage with the plot and work with some of your story writers and stuff like that, and kind of make your own like little player kind of agency plots going on in the world too. Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, it's a lot of give and take. So if you put a lot of thought and creativity into it, you will be rewarded as much as possible.
The community in Dead Legends is very welcoming. It was very easy to walk around and find myself invited to sit down and chat with strangers. They also make a coherent effort to get people involved, whatever is going on around them.
Yeah, so we have a big thing where we want to include as many people in a scene as possible. So we try to implement what's known as the 10-foot rule, which is if you have something going on, trying to drag as many people into it as possible. So if there's a crazy thing happening to you, if you get big with it and you're just like, hey, you, I know you can help me with that. Just trying to pull in as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Just so the whole community can come in and contribute and, oh, I know you're good at that, or hey, I saw you do that thing last month, can you come help me with it? It just kind of makes the game more fun for everyone, because then everyone gets to input their ideas.
Right.
And it makes it like more fun.
Yeah, and I also really enjoyed how everybody was comparatively the same stat-wise, so even as new players, we still felt viable.
You know, when we remembered what skills we had, or how to play this game,
Or who characters were. Yeah, I definitely felt like we struggled a little bit when we didn't know our American history or geography or in general how to be good Americans. But I still felt like our characters were able to create a niche in the world. I almost wish there was some kind of like new player symbol or system where people can kind of look at us and know how clueless we were. But I mean, once they found out, they were always willing to help out.
yeah. In parting though, we asked some players what they wish they had known before coming to this game.
So my last question for you is, what is a piece of advice you wish you could have given yourself when you first started doing Dead Legends? Maybe before your first game, or something you wish you knew about before you came in, or after your first couple of games?
Always buy in. Always, always, always buy in. This is a horror game. There are things in the woods that want to eat you. There are things in the woods that want to take your soul or wear your skin or whatever. And the horror is so much better if you don't go, oh, that's an NPC. The horror is so much better if you buy in. Scare yourself. Get scared. Hide under a table.
Yeah.
Lock a door and refuse to go outside.
Have a reaction to it. Get everybody else in the room involved. Because if you're just like, all right, well, that sounds like an over there problem, you're just kind of dropping it, and you're missing out on so much potential scene work that can be happening. If you were to give yourself advice going back to before you did this first game here, like when you were setting up your character, or whether you were coming on the site, you wanted like roleplay tips, what kind of advice would you give yourself before game?
So for this game in particular, I think one of the things that really sells this LARP, as opposed to a lot of different games that have like fictional universes that they're based in, or in-game lore that's like super specific and fantasy, a lot of this game is based on actual American history and history of like the Americas. And when I was building this character, I did a lot of focusing on the Empire of Mexico and Mexican history and being able to kind of sell that story. But I kind of forgot to research American history. And it's been a long time since I've taken a U.S. history class.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a couple of moments where there's some smiling and nodding, because I'm going to trust what you're saying is true, because I genuinely don't remember. So, having those moments where you can actually contribute to something that's like referring to a historical moment kind of makes it more immersive.
Yes.
So take a quick glance at those AP US history notes that you forgot about that are probably living in a drawer or collecting dust somewhere.
Overall, we'd recommend this LARP to anybody that's looking to live out their weird Wild West fantasy.
If you're interested in this game, the link is in the description below, because they're awesome, and it's awesome, and we're kind of awesome.
We're definitely awesome. If you have any recommendations for games that you'd like us to try out, feel free to drop them in the comments below.
Until next time, have fun and die loudly.
Yes! You said it!
We said it!